Turned us on, never gonna do the same for you.
What's up, guys? It's Donna here.
And Holly.
And you're listening to Teaser Talk.
On switch, turned us on, never gonna do the same. You hit the on switch, turned us on, never gonna do the same for you. With these power lights.
Happy Teaser Talk Tuesday, everyone. Are you guys ready to feel a little bit sad? Today, we're going to be making America Emo Again. Or for those like us, you guys have always been emoed on the DL and you still have those songs in your playlist. Anyways, for those kids who you guys went out and ditched us, let's go ahead and bring back that black nail polish, that eyeliner, and let us remind you where you came from.
So I feel like 2020 in general is just like a very emo year. It's super fitting for emo to come back now. I don't want to get too political, but we all know that there's a lot going on. This year is pretty much just like a bad game of Jumanji at this point.
It really is. Like someone messed with a Ouija board or something happened to where, I don't know, 2020 just isn't our year. And it's interesting to see like how like nostalgia everyone's kind of getting. It's like all these throwbacks and tie-dyes making a comeback and vinyl records are back to being a thing. So we just thought this would be perfect. So before we get into our list, though, Donna, I'd like to ask you, what are some great ingredients of an emo song?
So you've got to have super dramatic lyrics, for sure. You've got to have all that, whining. It's just not an emo song if somebody's not whining, screaming in the background, of course. All of the members, or at least most of them, have to have that shaggy black hair down in their eyes. I mean, maybe it's a little greasy, but they're emotional. They don't have time to wash it all the time. And it has to be completely relatable, yet unrelatable to the 15-year-olds who are going to be memorizing every lyric and screaming it in the back. Like they somehow know what these people are feeling.
Yeah, like all the broken hearts when you're 15 years old. That's so funny. I remember being like listening to some of these songs that we're about to talk about. I remember just feeling it like in my feels. And I'm looking back, I'm like, I was such a dumbass.
Oh my gosh. Back then we had the skinny jeans, the tight t-shirts, short sleeved, usually with emo band names, of course. Studded belts. We had the Chuck Taylors, the Vans, black wristbands. I mean, pretty much my adult attire minus the wristbands. But, still trying to live that emo life a little bit.
100%. And what's funny too is like we were also huge into safety pins. You remember safety pins and duct tape were also.
I remember that. We went on a search for giant pink safety pins.
I remember you got your big giant safety pin. That's so funny. So let's take a trip down memory lane and talk about our personal favorites here. And hopefully you guys had great taste in music too. So they're also your favorite ones as well.
So we'll just start out with some that a lot of the listeners may not know, because this is a shout out to the local West Virginia scene. So we've just got to start with Scenes from a Movie, because that was a really big influence for us when we were growing up. Like I said, they're local to West Virginia, and we would go and see them. We went to school with one or more of the band members. So, of course, we felt like we could relate to them, even though, we didn't really speak. We weren't friends. We like to think we were. I mean, we've had them on the show. We're friends now, but back then we were really nothing more than groupies. But they had that local emo influence. So I think these next couple of bands we're talking about probably are what got us into the emo scene.
100%. Yeah, I remember like we had the hallway. So there was the hallway, but they had like some of those people you're referring to, I think, then they hang up in like the top part of the hallway, which is like,
yeah, they were like the hallway, and we were probably like the sub hallway.
Yeah, we were like
to think we were the main hallway, but
we were definitely the place that people avoided, though. That was for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
So another local coming in at number 9 is going to be Time and Distance. So Time and Distance was every local emo kid. Everyone had this as a CD, like a staple of their CD collection. We had the pleasure of getting these guys to see them locally, and we actually, still do. Or last couple times I've been up there in West Virginia, obviously not right now, but had the pleasure of catching them live music, and it's just super cool to kind of have that authentic talent there in, Nitro, St. Albans area. Greg has an amazing voice, super talented when it comes to music all the way around. And of course, I've got to still say that Lost in Me is my all-time favorite by them. And that was pretty much the local emo kid anthem, I would say, back in the day.
Yeah, there's just something about the local music that just really puts you in touch with that emo vibe.
Mm-hmm. If you guys listening were ever an emo kid, definitely make sure to check out Time and Distance and Scenes from a Movie. You guys will not be disappointed.
Absolutely not. They're a good one. So at number 8, we have got Paramore. So like the criteria outlined, we as angsty teens needed something relatable, some way to relate to the emo drama. So of course it was necessary to have a female in the scene. And Hayley Williams had us all convinced that we would someday channel our emotions into some badass lyrics. And instead, we're all just depressed adults. But, she gave us hope, right?
Thank you, my adult depression. Thank you for that hope that I covered and masked it for all these years. No, I agree.
Thank you for fooling me, Hayley Williams.
I remember, there's very, very few female emo lead singers, true emos. And yeah, she's definitely a rock star for sure. So number 7, you guys, is Finch. And first off, I have a question of whatever happened to these guys. I loved their album, What It Is to Burn. Stay With Me was one of my favorites of the album. I remember just being 13 or 14 and just dreaming about having a romance like that one day, which was, like I said, I was a dumbass, but it's so funny to think about how we daydream over this music. But I don't really remember them past that album, but they have to put it in here because they're super emotional, at least my personal favorite, because, I just remember being all my life sucks listening to them.
They just knew we couldn't handle anymore. We were so in our emotions, it was time for them to go. That's exactly it. So number 6, we have Fall Out Boy and their Sugar We're Going Down. And I just have to know, please, someone help me out. I cannot be the only person that had to Google these lyrics. I always thought they were saying down, down in a linear round. And
linear round.
See, it sounds right. So, now, going to the next lyric, Sugar We're Going Down Swinging. I guess it makes sense. They're saying down, down in an earlier round. It's like a boxing match. But, I never put that correlation together. An emo song, we're talking about boxing. I don't know. But
it was so random, though, too. Yeah, and I had to look them up, too, because it's and then there's another one he was, talking about, being in the closet or something, watching from your closet. I have to look up those lyrics again. Obviously, they didn't stick with me because I'm still not sure what they're still saying.
Yeah, we sing it. We don't know what we're singing.
So whiny. Yeah, that whiny.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Prime example. Just so whiny, we don't know what you're saying, but it's cool. We're with it.
We dig it. Number 5, and this one you guys obviously can totally relate to it being in the emo scene. Panic at the Disco. I remember, those were the days back then when we'd watch, MTV, actual music videos. That we didn't really look them up on YouTube. I don't think there was even YouTube back then, but it was watching, Premiere. And I remember watching I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. That was one of my favorite videos because I'm just a sucker for, theatrical performance. But then also I always want to kind of be in a circus. So it was a no-brainer why I loved it.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome. I think every video I've ever seen by them is just as emo as their songs, and it's great. Just very theatrical. Number 4, brand new. And can we please get back to the days where song titles were as long as a paragraph? I mean, you look
Yes,
and you
please.
think you're just reading the lyrics, but then most of the time, the title isn't even in the lyrics anywhere. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, so brand new, for example, we have, okay, I believe you, but my Tommy gun don't. And I mean, I don't think he says that anywhere in the song. I don't think he does. But, the real sweet spot in all our emo lives was 70 times 7. I don't think there's a more emo song.
I'm going to challenge you on that one with our next one. But I will say on brand new, though, like, I don't know, maybe I was just not very smart, but I remembered, like, thinking, like, wait, like really reading into like these song titles and lyrics. I was like, they're like lyrical geniuses. I don't even understand what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, we think that because we don't understand it, it must be genius. But really, there may be a reason we don't understand them, Holly. And it may not be genius.
So I'm going to challenge your statement with 70 times 7 because number 3, you guys, we've got Taking Back Sunday. And Taking Back Sunday is like one of the top bands I always think about emo. So here is the line I want to challenge you with. The truth is, if you could slit my throat and with my one last gasping breath, I'd apologize for bleeding on your shirt.
You win. That's the most emo lyric.
Like, you're like,
so sorry. I bled on your shirt.
Just slit my throat, but I am so sorry that I am bleeding on your shirt right now.
I don't even deserve this blood, but I'm sorry it's spilling on your shirt. Yeah.
Like,
Taking Back Sunday.
That's like that right there. Someone say, what's emo? You just play that song. This is an emo song. Classic example.
So, number 2, we have My Chemical Romance, and they are proof that emo is coming back. So these guys, I still hear them on multiple radio stations, from kind of newer stuff they have, as well as the OG emo classics like Welcome to the Black Parade, which I feel like that is definitely like a staple. Everybody knows Welcome to the Black Parade.
Ding! The very beginning.
Yes, that's all you need to hear. That ding,
You know what's about to happen. The Black Parade.
A tear slides down your cheek.
Every time that note plays, an emo kid bleeds on somebody's shirt. Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
They are. And, they had, like, their sold-out show this year, which obviously I don't think that's going to happen, but they were, like, making a comeback, and just 2020 is a SOB. Okay, so let's get to number 1. And I'm not even going to say the band's name. I'm actually just going to start singing the lyrics, and I know everyone listening, if you guys are a true emo kid, you guys would remember this. Ready?
Yes.
Small, simple,
safe price.
Rise the way to me with all of my regrets.
This is not a small cut that scabs and dries and flakes and heals.
And I'm not
afraid to die. I'm not afraid to bleed and fuck and fight. I want the pain of payment. What's left but a section of pygmy-sized cuts, much like the slew of 1,000 unwanted fucks. Can you be my little cut?
Would you be my 1,000 fucks?
Make Mark leaving space for the guilt to become liquid.
There you go, yeah.
Feel and spill
over and under my thoughts. My sad, sorry, selfish cry out to the Lord.
Why is this so hard?
When you like really start thinking about it, though, like you start like, wait a minute, does that make sense? Like, what does 1,000 unwanted fucks mean? Like, what is that? What's a slew of them?
What's a slew of them?
They're so
I remember when we got to go to the Used concert, and we're all just standing there, and the music starts, and we hear it coming, and I just remember looking at each other and saying, this is what we've trained our whole life for. And a woman behind us just looked at me with big eyes and was like, it is. Yes, it is.
We can finally afford tickets to go to the concerts. We're not 15-year-olds anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, you guys cannot be surprised that The Used is our number one favorite band. I mean, I'm surprised we got through our teenage years without getting a restraining order of some sort.
Oh my gosh. We did see them. We saw them at the Warped Tour.
Yes, we did. And
We
you
saw
remember?
Burt McCracken, and we did not talk to him.
We wanted to, but we didn't.
And it's interesting because I don't feel like we've ever had any reservations about going up and talking to anyone we've ever met. It's always like very open conversation. We don't care to jump in and, hey, how are you? Like, hey, teaser talk, want to interview? No, we saw Burt McCracken and we were 15-year-old little girls again. We just like held on to each other's arms like, oh my God, there he is.
He was like, I'm pretty sure he was stealing that cooler. Because remember, it was like 1,000,000 degrees. So he was like as happy as he can be. And we're just sweating. Like I was so hot, but I'm just like, oh my God, there he goes. So yeah, but their album that they had just dropped this year is really dope. It's cool to see these guys back in and making hits, and they even had some people on, like I know Blink-182 guy Mark was on there, one of their songs, and it's cool because some of it has like a good like their old sound, but then some of it's kind of like, you know, I guess their new sound that they're trying to progress to. So
yeah, it is really cool. And they're another one we talk about, like how we always wanted emo music to be relatable in some way. And they are really big on like fan involvement. This whole new album is just fan art. As far as their album cover and things like that. All the different tarot cards are just all fan drawn. And I just think that's really cool. Like it really like immerses you in the music and makes you a part of it.
yeah, did you see their Lighthouse music video? I know you probably haven't because you've been, you know, crazy busy, but their Lighthouse music video is like from like nurses and around the ER and like doctors and stuff. It's super cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
No,
it's really
I'm gonna have
cool.
to look it up.
You
That's
look that
awesome.
shit up, girl. Google that shit.
Ooh, girl. Just like I have to Google lyrics, I'm gonna be Googling that shit.
Okay, so you guys, we have to tell you about the most bizarre, not the most, but one of the most bizarre situations that we had encountered at the Used concert. You remember that couple.
Oh my gosh. You
Like,
could have written an emo song about them.
It seriously was like we were like in high school again watching it. It was the craziest stuff. So, what was that, like 2 years ago? 2 years ago? I don't know, but it was not that long ago. And we were, waiting. We were waiting, right? It was in between shows or whatever. We're inching our way up to the front. Well, there's this girl, and she's sitting on the ground, and she's saying that she's like has a medical condition or something, which of course, why would somebody lie about that? But okay. And that's why she's sitting down. Well, then everybody starts making friends, and she's there with her boyfriend. And then we start to notice this other girl, it becomes like they're part of their little like group that obviously didn't know them before. So I can't remember how it all transpired, Donna. Do you remember, like, I just remember us like kept looking at each other like, oh no.
So the boyfriend and the girlfriend were kind of standing at the front, and he had his arm around her.
Yeah.
But the other girl, the like stranger girl, kept trying to like squeeze her way in between them, like not even nonchalantly, just very actively trying to push the girlfriend out of the way. And the girlfriend was like resistant at first, but then it was like she couldn't do anything about it. That one was just swooping in. So at some point you'd see the guy with his arm around his girlfriend, but then also his other hand on this strange woman's ass, like caressing it. Yeah. And like the girlfriend would kind of catch a peep at what was going on and like back away from him and be mad. And then, I don't know, maybe just the energy from the Used, just all that emotion just made her be like, whatever. So yeah,
because at the end of the night, like, I think it might have also been the beers too, because by the end of the night, I'm pretty sure they all left together. It was the strangest. Like, at one point, the girlfriend had told her off. I remember thinking like, oh, we're about to see a fight, but then nothing came of it. And then next thing
by
you
the
know,
end of the night, they were all cuddling.
Yeah, the boyfriend then was like holding the girl's hand while he's also holding the other girl's hand behind her. It was the weirdest stuff I've ever seen in my
I'm
life.
going to write a song about it. This is going to be my emo debut. I'm going to write a song about it, and I'll be the next Haley Williams, and all my adult depression will have not been for nothing. Thank you, strange couple at the Used concert.
So weird.
So, guys, just to wrap it up, 2020 has been rough. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's not really showing signs of looking up anytime soon. So, while we just bask in the sorrow of real life, let's go ahead and just re-immerse ourselves into that emo lifestyle. We hope you enjoyed this little stroll through memory lane. And just a fun fact, you can't spell memory without emo. So if you guys will excuse me, I've got to go add some black wristbands and bracelets to my Amazon cart. But until next time, keep rocking.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Teaser Talk.
We look forward to seeing you next Teaser Talk Tuesday. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Teaser Talk. This way we can keep up with you guys until the next episode.